What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 42 of my Total Warhammer 3 Valkia the Bloody Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, an infantry clash saw us victorious, but more importantly, we are looking to add a couple more final vassals to our list. Specifically, Azag, while not quite yet ready for vassalization, is certainly getting there. I think if we are able to either destroy his army here, as in his main stack, or take the Silver Pinnacle and trade it back to him, he'd be willing to go for vassalization. I'd like to have at least one Orky ally, since it looks like we will be destroying Grimgor's faction for good. Plus, it would be nice to have an orc to, you know, occupy all the Darklands and stuff, because it's mostly stuff that we don't need other than the Tower of Gorgoth and the Black Fortress, unless I'm not recalling another Dark Fortress. Speaking of Dark Fortresses, there are a few in Cathay as well, so it would be nice to get those. We do need to get a village. All of that aside, we are very, very close now to finally getting Festus to join us, so we'll be moving Valkia up here to grab the Brass Keep and subjugate him the next turn. Now, speaking of next turn, let's see what we have to do in the meantime to get there, and it doesn't look like there's much. As in, we seem to have moved pretty much everybody around, so unless there's something to buy or something to build, we are gonna go next. Now, this place is still kind of weird, because I really still want to trade Hexoatl to the Cult of Pleasure, but in order to do that, we need to get Maku Peaks, which is probably going to be a fairly costly purchase. 48k, so basically our entire amount of money to buy this, in order to buy this, in order to trade them both back to the Cult of Pleasure, which is kind of dumb, but it's just that once again, these guys are completely wasting this. Let's see if there's anything really critical to be built, but if not, then we can certainly spend our money. Northern Wastes is good. And yeah, there isn't a lot of stuff to be built, is there? Zarnagrind we can skip, and the rest of that is, I suppose, not super important, since we're going to be trading Zarnagrind away to Kolek, rather than keeping it for ourselves. Yeah, it'll mean less money for us, but nonetheless, I would like Kolek to at least be somewhat viable. Alrighty, fine, in that light we're going to trade. So Maku Peaks, you're going to be ours.
All the same.
Right now. For a ton of cash.
For Kane.
Then, oh, you guys aren't trading with us?
Yes.
That's interesting. Well, once we trade those back, we can trade with them, and then etc, etc. Now, what do you want for Hexoatl?
Straight to business. Where shall we raid next? The longships.
Minus 12. Okay, so it's not so bad. What the heck is this? Commandments, go away. What we will want to do is a trade for Hexoatl, but I think what we can do is once he takes Monument of the Moon, we can just trade him Pahwaks and Swamp Town, whichever one's worth more. In fact, just out of curiosity, how much is Swamp Town worth to you? 24. It's actually worth more than Hexoatl. Oh. Yeah, okay, I was not expecting that, but I am happy with the results, so we immediately trade for Hexoatl like so. You can keep your money. And it's not like we were gonna keep Swamp Town for ourselves. Yeah, alright, so take this. There we go, so unless I did something wrong, now we can trade both of these to Cult of Pleasure, and they should be pretty happy about it. Don't bother building anything. Wait, what? Oh wow, getting gold gives Khorne corruption in all regions. That's pretty interesting. I assume that this means our regions. Yeah, it would be funny if this was all regions in the world. Actually, that would be a kind of neat thing, I think. Like a mechanic for factions, if they get enough special buildings to start generating their kind of corruption everywhere in the world. Especially in the late game, just to make it a little bit interesting. But anyway, I think we're ready to trade. I'm a little bit concerned about these guys retaking Maku Peaks from our allies, and then it's forcing us to pay for it again. But it's not like we can defend it right now anyway. I do wonder if they can reach it. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to send Harald there. I was going to hope to have him destroy Huglug, but not a big deal. Okay, well, let us trade this away right now. Fallen Gates, you can have Maku Peaks first. And are you willing to give us money back? Yes, I'd like some of our money back. Yeah, you're our ally, but honestly, we just paid you a lot of cash for that. Huh. wait, out of curiosity, how much is Malku Peak's worth? 4.5, and then Hexoaddle's worth 2.0. It's actually worth less. But when we trade Malku Peaks for money, like so,
How wicked.
and then give you Hexoaddle, now it's worth 17, which means we get the trade agreement, and we get more of our money back.
Immediately.
Alrighty, perfect. Now they have that full province, as well as that gold mine to take advantage of. We got a new trade agreement and some of the cash that we spent on that back. Good enough. Certainly good enough. Alrighty, ooh, just to double check, Harold, are you ready to upgrade? No, nowhere near. Nowhere near. Damn it. Well, that's fine. And we'll deal with it later. And now I believe we're good to end the turn. Let's just... Ooh, yes, wait. I forgot about the Dread Fleet. I'd like to subjugate these guys as well. I'm actually not sure whether it's possible or not. As in, if we get their last settlement, do they become subjugated or do we have to destroy them? Because as we saw with the Legion of Chaos, I believe, who would rather die than be our subject. But anyway, we have two potential battles here. Mentesh Malphastar might get attacked by Alexis there, and we might get an attack on Demahar Morspig here. Rel Morspig's brother. Let's see if he survives. Skip this, Path to Glory available, screw that for now, building upgrades, screw that, end the turn, and let's see about some battles. Alright, Demahar, don't fail your ambush, buddy. Your force is really basic and inferior right now, so this is not the time to screw up. Alright, keep going. I also noticed that the vassals are displayed as allies up here, as military allies. It doesn't seem to have a vassal symbol for when it's up there, and aha, what do we have here? So, Alexis is indeed going to try to attack us. This should be a pretty interesting battle. In fact, it should be a pretty tough battle, I should say. They have that Emperor's Wrath tank. We have a bunch of basic marauders who can certainly fight the infantry, but 42-42 versus 44-18 seems that the basic state troops are a little bit superior in some ways. Although we do have the frenzy buffs and other stuff which should make it so that they win in a fight theoretically. Alright, well, let's see if we can pull this off. If nothing else, this was a temporary army, so we don't actually care about its destruction if that should happen. But at the very least, we should get a nice fight out of it.
That is not a mortal concern!
I'm sorry, what exactly is not a mortal concern? You know what is a mortal concern? The fact that we might lose this. The enemy has a pretty decent army, and we are once again back to basics. Lots and lots of Marauders of Khorne with no veterancy, and obviously Tier 1, the most basic unit we have. We have 4 Trolls, 2 of them basic and unarmored. We have Chaos Warhounds instead of Flesh Hounds of Khorne, and then we have a bunch of Marauder Horsemen rather than Knights. If the roles were reversed, I would definitely take the army that the enemy has, especially with the Emperor's Wrath on their side to act as an anchor, plus the level 30 hero compared to our level 13. If only we had a caster, it really could have helped out here, but yeah. The balance of power also starts off in the enemy's favor, but that is hardly surprising. Let's see what we can do. Alright, I'm just going to speed it up a little bit as the armies move towards each other, and it looks like the first of the victims is going to be a little bit of a cavalry duel, as the enemy knights try to give chase to our Marauder horses. Now, we've obviously done this sort of thing again before, specifically the knights facing off against the Marauder horsemen, though it was primarily Bretonnian knights and not the Empire knights that we usually do this to. Let's see how long it takes all 4 units of our missile cav to destroy these knights, though. They are armor-piercing, and by they I mean our Marauder horsemen, but they don't seem to kill that many knights as they go. Well, good luck to them. In the meantime, the rest of our army is starting to move towards the main enemy blob. We're also moving in our Chaos Warhounds to try to kill those crossbows, and it's going to be pretty critical that we try and destroy the enemy range units as best we can. So with the lot is going to probably be relying on these Chaos Warhounds. Of course, the enemy fires back with their own range, or their other range rather, on these guys, and we're going to have to get them out because we will need them both to kill these guys being ranged this time, as well as to chase stuff around. Alrighty, there's also a very threatening unit here, a Borderman unit, so the Outriders with Grenade Launcher, which are extremely threatening to our basic Marauder blobs. We're specifically going to give chase to them with a unit of our Trolls in the hopes of preventing them from firing at all. Unfortunately, the Trolls do get blocked by a unit of Spears, which is appropriate, but hopefully we can catch them eventually. Otherwise, the main battle here is joined. It's Basics versus Basics Empire State Troops versus basic level Marauders. But we shall see who the winner is. On paper, and probably by virtue of stats or veterancy, as well as the Lord's level, I would give it to the Empire troops, but we do have the tactical superiority. And of course we have the monstrous infantry. Plus, of course, the AI is not making great use of its Emperor's Wrath steam tank. Rather than using it to anchor the line and kill trolls or whatever, it seems to be just standing on the skill and functioning as a cannon. It would even be better if it was moved closer and firing its cannon into blobs of infantry, but right now it seems to be going after horsemen. It wasn't a bad shot, don't get me wrong. I mean, what, six horses go down in a single round, but it could be applying a lot more of what it does to the main line, especially because it causes terror, and our Marauder infantry are not immune to any of that. I guess, wait, they are in Blood Greed, but wait, intensity 7%. Maybe they are. Okay, well then I changed my mind. But I still think that it should be out in the middle of the actual fight, rather than what it's doing here. Anyway, speaking of the actual fight, we have our Lord here together with his aspiring champion, so at least this middle portion of the battlefield, we should be able to win. We're just going to try to hold the enemy Lord together with his Sigmar Sons and Nordland Mariners, as well as Sterlin's Revenge Free Company Militia. All of his best stuff other than the Emperor's Wrath is here, so we're not going to actually commit our Lord or the aspiring champions there, because I feel like they could do damage elsewhere and then return to this once everything else is dead, or at least that's the plan. We've also gotten our Marauder Horsemen of Khorne. They may not be knights, but they look like they're still decent enough, I should say, to charge enemy crossbows. There's a lot of huntsmen and crossbows, archers and pistoliers and whatever on the field. I think a single unit of handgunners as well, and we definitely don't want them firing into our unshielded dual-axe Marauders. I like how the Marauder Horsemen of Khorne swing both of their axes at the same time. Like that attack animation. I feel like that's not what they would actually be doing, as in they'd probably be leaning over and trying to swing away with a single hand at a time with an axe, but hey, more power to them. They're Khornite units, they love their axes. I can appreciate that. Anyway, the battle goes on. The balance of power is still in the enemy's favor. Looks like one of our Chaos Warhounds units got chased off, wavered, and then rallied. Another one is trying to chase crossbowmen around, and we've managed to force at least one unit of crossbows to rout, as well as that Empire Knight unit finally died as it caught up to our Marauder Horsemen here. It might have actually been faster to kill them by having all four of our horses charge the unit directly, rather than trying to kite it around. Alrighty, well, here we go. The Nordland Mariners and the Sigmar Sons and the enemy Lord still trying to hold off the rest of our units here, but are finally actually being overwhelmed. We actually did a little bit better on this side than I had originally thought we would. Good job to those guys. And the Trolls, of course, winning here as well. This splash damage is coming in really, really handy, and we're trying to get as many units as possible to surround the enemy range. The Lord has led, of course, he is on his chariots, so we can't really use him, and it looks like the tank is trying to target him at now. Focus fire, you know what I mean. At least that's what it looked like. And it may be a decent choice, as it would probably not go over so well for our units if they lost their Lord, especially all those Marauders. And frankly, the Trolls also have pretty garbage leadership, so we do have to be careful. Fortunately, over on this side, the surrounding of the enemy does seem to have panned out for us, and the balance of power has shifted to about even, half and half. There's still a lot of enemy range units to kill, and the enemy has managed to rout a fair few of our units. These two Marauders are out. A unit of Chaos Trolls, unarmored of course, is out as well, and I think one of the Marauders did run away but did come back. And while we did win over on this side against the Sigmar Sun and Nordland Mariners, as we can see, 2 of our units were traded for it. So, yeah, clearly didn't quite get everything we wanted. Still fighting these Empire Knights over in the center with our Lord and everybody else, but the enemy range units that were here at the same time are still dying. We are going to be ignoring the steam tank as best we can at this point, just because we can't commit the number of troops needed to destroy it and go through all that HP pool and armor. Hopefully we can force it to... Wait, it's unbreakable, so hopefully we can force the rest of the army to rout and get back to the tank afterward. Ooh, nice hit. Oh, and then... I like how that Mariner hit the Marauder, killed him, and then immediately got killed by a Marauder. Lovely. Kicked to death by trolls, at least these are armored trolls. And are the Northern Mariners also unbreakable? Oh, they had something on them that was making them unbreakable, didn't they? Yeah, the Sigmar Suns are unbreakable, so they will fight to the death, and it looks like almost all of these guys are going to try to fight to the death here. I wonder if they can bring this troll down with all those halberds. It is trying to hold the line, and down it goes. Well done. And they move back into the fray. Fortunately, the balance of power has shifted a little bit further in our favor, at about maybe 60% now. The enemy lord is still more or less fine, and we do have more troops routing and running away, but so do they. And at this point, we've switched several of our own units, namely the Marauder Horsemen, as well as the Chaos Warhounds, to try to run around and chase units, kill as many of them as we can so that they don't come back, but also so that we don't have to fight them again. Trolls look like they're doing good over here, still have a decent amount of those damn range units to kill. On the bright side, though, of course, the range units aren't really threatening, and of course we still have our aspiring champions. Not a lot of things in the enemy roster, or here rather, could have actually hurt the aspiring champions. The handgunner unit was a threat, but if they're out, the aspiring champions, especially when acting together with a unit of trolls, are pretty darn strong and will likely be instrumental in the killing of that Emperor's Wrath siege tank. Steam tank. I can't stop calling steam tanks siege tanks, damn it. Oh well. Alrighty, and the enemy army is still holding on. Damn, you know, for a pitched battle, for a pitched field battle, and not a siege, this is quite a long battle. This is one of the reasons it's nice to return to basics periodically, as basic troops versus basic troops can give you these great battles that feel like there's a lot of units fighting their own little, you know, sub-battles, I suppose, little mini skirmishes on different parts. The main lines of both armies have collapsed, and we just have lots and lots of different microcosms sort of going on everywhere now, which is quite lovely. Looks like the enemy lord is fighting by himself now against these marauders of Khorne, but looks like most of the enemy army has actually broken at this point. The Empire Knights are still fighting, plus the lord, plus the Emperor's Wrath, but everybody else is pretty much done. Oh, there is a unit coming back, though. And there may be a few more units that try to come back, but hopefully we can chase them off with all of our fast movers. Keep the Lord distracted there. Actually, I'm glad for these marauders in particular, just for distracting the Lord long enough so that he doesn't annoy everybody else as they try to give chase. As this is pretty critical. He's getting his Warhammers nice and bloody though, but it looks like he will do so no longer. I'm actually surprised that Warrior Priests are breakable at all. Like, it feels like once they hit a certain level, they would just become unbreakable. But this guy's going to try to run away. We're going to try to give chase to him as well, especially with our own Lord and with our Marauder Horsemen, as they can chuck those axes. And ooh, that tank still firing at our own Lord, who, as we can see, is now close to wavering. A couple more shots and he'll either die or run away, so we do have to be careful. Fortunately, at this point, I do notice this, and seeing the cannon fire, do specifically try to move him away to dodge it while he chases the enemy Lord around. Now it is time to destroy the enemy tank, so the trolls are in. Fortunately, they do armor-piercing damage, even if it isn't a crazy amount. 81 is still pretty damn solid. And there we go, more trolls coming in, and plus we've got axes, armor-piercing axes, mind you, even though I kind of hesitate to think of a way that a bunch of axes being chucked at one of these steam tanks would actually kill it. Although I suppose if they did enough damage to the exhaust vents or something like that, then they might break it apart. And there we go. Now this thing is damn well surrounded. The aspiring champions have moved in, and all that together should bring it down. This thing explodes when it dies, doesn't it? Kaboom. Causes fire damage strong with a single unit. Enabled if unit is dead. Ooh, I wonder how many it'll kill. We are quite surrounding. Oh wow, that was a nice shockwave. It didn't look like it killed as many units, although a decent amount did die. But mostly it seemed like they got knocked back. Well, lovely. And wait, oh, all these units are routed at the same time. Okay, gotta be careful with that. It really didn't seem to do the damage to the aspiring champions, though. I think if nothing else, if most of the rest of our army died, the aspiring champions could have held on for ages. As we can see, all 16 still alive, nearly full HP, and having done a lot of damage. Plus, they have all their buffs between Perfect Vigor, Hellblade, Frenzy, Gore Feast, so they could continue healing for a while. They haven't reached their healing cap either. Revel and Slaughter, glorious. What a fun battle, Pyrrhic victory, and one of the longest battles in this campaign so far. Always unexpected when it's one of the lesser, weaker armies, when it's them being played, that the good battles come around, but I always greatly enjoy it. Alrighty, I wasn't quite expecting to win that, but damn, what a fun fight. Certainly actually had to work for it. The damn tank did 16,000 damage, Emperor's Wrath. Pretty appropriate name, I think, in that particular situation, and certainly took some bringing down as well. Nearly forced our Lord to rout by continuously trying to fire at him. Also, great job to the Northern Mariners, who got 93 kills and beat out all the other infantry in terms of both kills and damage by the looks of it. Yeah, well done. Well done to both of you. Sigmar's Sons did okay as well, but they're an unbreakable unit and a regiment of renown, and that's hardly surprising. This, I believe, means that since we destroyed this army to a man, we're actually able to take Wolfenburg. We're going to occupy it because there's no point in sacking or raising it right now. And we'll simply trade it. I mean, it does have gold. Once again, well, I guess it gives that Khornate corruption, but we don't really care about that. You want a peace treaty, Barrow Legion, but you had minus 2.2k. It doesn't seem it's worth our time. It's probably going to be better off just to outright kill them. Alrighty, now what about the orcs? Are they indeed going to attack us here? I don't remember whether they've moved or not, as in the Grimgore orcs. I think we've seen some orcs move. Oh, look, it's the Blue Vipers. Cute. That. Oh, wow, 7k for this, huh? Yeah, they're not gonna get vassalized, though. 38. That's nice, but I don't see any real reason to do this. We should be able to kill them fairly shortly, so no thank you. I'd rather give your territories to our own allies here. And there go the rest of the Chaos Forces, and did the orcs run away? Oh, that's odd. We've gotten this before, and I think we once again want to go for Display of Might, because we're waiting for a few different units to actually level up right now. A rebellion in the Giant Home Mountains, but Karakadrak will not fall, as they've already dealt with that. Another rebellion in the Cursed City, similar sort of situation, although the garrison here isn't nearly as good. I still am not all that concerned about it. Allies are going to mobilize in, like, all the places, apparently. Path to Glory unlocked for Mentash, who got himself some nice traits. Okay, well, Mr. Temporary Army, I guess, is going to be an actual army now. Alrighty. Actually, what Path to Glory did you even have? You have Indisputable Champion, which, frankly, we don't really care about. Dark Fury, which, if we evolve you, won't matter. And Unbreakable. I guess we could evolve you right now, just to see if you become something better. I mean, why not? Let's find out. Choose path, devote to Khorne. What else would you devote yourself to? And you gained yourself some mounts. You do... Okay, you do not need to be on the damn Gore-Beast chariot. Go for... You know what? Go for the Chaos Steed for now, rather than the Juggernaut. I just want to compare a little bit, because we've had the Juggernauts before. Oh, and he got... Whoa, he got scaled skin, eh? Might actually be better to put him on a Juggernaut, then. Alright, fine, screw it. Juggernaut for you. Bigger target, but, well, with scaled skin, that should fix that somewhat. Now, what did we get here? Survivor and Gate of Khorne if we win a battle against a demon race, which... Is it even possible anymore? I guess if there's a rebellion. And souls gained from captives and come from post-battle loot. That's not horrible. Yeah, alright. This guy turned out to be a pretty decent lord. Let's get you Skull Crusher, Root Marcher, Dominating Presence, Infernal Champion. Definitely Khorne marked all the way through to Burning Brand. We do want Hearts of Iron. I don't really care about the rest of that stuff, though. Let's get to you... Well, yeah, Unflinching Soldiers and Rampant Destroyer. And I think we'll hold on to the rest of the points. Well, you know what? Chaos Vanguard is pretty much always useful, so we can give you Chaos Vanguard. I just don't know what else is going to be in your army, but for now you can hold on to that. I'm tempted to get you hard to hit, but I think for now we'll hold off as well. Alrighty. Well, with that, unfortunately, we are pretty much out of time. Next time, wait, just out of curiosity, if we kill Malefics here... Will he go close enough to Brass Keep? No, doesn't look like it. I'm not sure that we can actually reach her. Maybe we can. Auto-resolve Malefics here. Hopefully this doesn't hurt our army too badly. Auto-resolve's wonky as all hell. Heal up. And will we be able to... Army receives Plague? Yeah, well, that's not surprising. Oh no, Battle Healing Cap reduction. Oh, that's the worst one. That's the worst one other than the attrition ones, but yeah, that one's garbage because, well, Valkia does like the healing. But oh well. It looks like we can in fact reach Brass Keep, which means it'll be a fight. A Pyrrhic victory, so we actually have to manually fight this. A pretty massive garrison with a ton of Chaos Warriors and Chosen, plus the main stack. No Festus there, of course, but, well, there's only one way to subjugate him, so we will do that and complete more or less our Pokemon collection, as you guys have been calling it in the comments. And next time, so stay tuned for that. Possibly we'll try to add the Azag faction as well, if we can manage to pull it off somehow. I do wonder if he'd be willing to try to fight Ventress Swordteller, because this army is still kind of meh. And again, so is Azag, so who the heck knows. We could try to ambush him. A little bit disappointing that these guys decided to run away, but maybe we can go after them after all. Ah, damn, this guy's just a little bit too far. Too bad we don't have that thing where we get more movement range out of moving. Anyway, as I said, calling it here next time. More battles, plenty everywhere, but most importantly, the acquisition of Festus. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.